To all the geeks and nerds out there, welcome back to another episode of Simply Minecraft. This is a series where each episode we take one aspect of the game and try and make it as simple as we can. And as you can see behind me, today we are after some food. We haven't talked about food yet, and today we're going to make one of the most OP food farms there is in the game. And it's super easy. So yeah, let's get into this. As you can see, we are going to be building this thing. We are going to be building a Hoglin farm. And this Hoglin farm is going to give us one of the best foods in the game, and you won't have to smelt any items or anything like that. The food comes out ready to eat, already cooked, and yeah, very convenient indeed. So as you can see, we have this spawning platform, and around the outside we have these warp fungus. When the Hoglins spawn, they see it, they run away from it, and eventually they will make their way into the killing chamber in the center without too many issues. They do dope about a bit, but generally speaking, they will get into that center pretty quickly, as you can see. Now we've also got a lot of light here because we don't want any other mobs from spawning, so this is to keep the light level up and above light level 11, so we don't get any piglins spawning. But yeah, these Hoglins just run around, and as you can see, they just jump in. So when they do, they will fall into our fire underneath, and we are using the brand new 1.16 soulfire, this blue fire. Now there's a couple of reasons for this, which we'll get into later on, but as you can see, the Hoglins die off very quickly indeed. And underneath here, no complicated collection system or anything like that, but inside we have these chests, and as you can see, we get a lot of drops. So yeah, all of these chests are pretty much full up. We also get leather as well, so that's an extra byproduct, which is super useful indeed. All right, so we'll be doing a block by block tutorial in a second, but before we do that, let's talk about some details. So first of all, let's talk about the rates of this thing. So this series is all about making things super simple, and as you can see, you don't get much simpler than this. But actually, even though it's simple, we do get quite a lot of drops. So down here, I've got some figures for you. So at the bottom here, you can see for one layer, which is what we've got here, you'll get nearly 4,000 pork chops that are cooked per hour. Now that is going to keep you going for a very long time. Now I've also done a test where you can stack these layers above each other, and if you build 5 layers, you're going to get 18,000 pork chops an hour. Oh man, I think you can probably just build this, run it for an hour, and then never run it ever again. So, and as you can see, yeah, it is super simple. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to build the single layer just like this, and then when we get towards the end of the video, I'll show you the five layer version and how you can stack these on top of each other if you do want to go to these lengths and get these kind of insane drops for not a lot of effort. I mean, if you look at these layers, there's not a lot to it really. So yeah, for a bit of extra effort, not too much, you'll get an insane amount of food that will keep you going for a very long time. The first question is, where do we build this thing? Well, just like last episode when we built our gold farm, we need to go over to the Nether and find this biome. This is the Crimson Forest, and as you can see, this is where the Hoglin spawn naturally, and yeah, we're going to take advantage of that. But as you can see, this guy over here, he also spawns. This is a piglin. We'll deal with him a bit later on and make sure he doesn't spawn. But yeah, this is the place to be. And while you're here, you can pick up a few blocks. So there's a few things you're going to need. So this block down here, it's called Crimson Nylium. So this block right here, this is the one you want. So if you can grab some of these blocks. We'll use this in a farm a bit later. The other thing we're going to look for is warped fungus. So there are some that spawn in this biome. You can see there's one over here. So you get a few over here. If you go over to another biome called the warped forest, they also spawn over there. So you can grab some of them, or you can find the warped Nylium, which is the kind of a blue version of this. Either of those two will be good for the build. So while you're here, grab those blocks, and then you need to get back up onto the nether ceiling. So we covered how to do that in the last episode, but as a quick recap, let me show you how to do it again. First of all, you need to dig high up above the Crimson Forest until you hit bedrock, until you're in amongst all this mess, and you need to basically dig around until you find 2 blocks that are at Y127. So how can you tell that? Well, let me jump up here. I found 2 right here, these 2. If you press F3, you can see that over on the right hand side we've got it says targeted block. That's the block you're looking at, and as you can see, the second number there is 127. So if I look at both of these 2 blocks, they're both at 127, so they are the correct blocks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop into survival to show you how to do this. So just to show that it does actually work, so we might need a couple of blocks just to get us up to the right level. So I'm standing here, I'm going to make sure I'm not blocked by any bedrock. There we go. And so now you could place a slab on top of this block right here. So you just got half a slab, a kind of space here, and that is the block that's 127. Then get an ender pearl, and you're just aiming to throw it up here. So don't throw it at the slab itself here, throw it above the slab, and then we should hopefully just do that. That's cool. So now you can see where our head is above the bedrock. We can now press this to show you. Here we go, quite safe. And yeah, if I press jump once and then jump twice, we're now on top of the nether, ready to go. Now, one thing to mention before you do this, make sure you've got plenty of obsidian and also flint and steel so you can build yourself a portal and get back to the overworld when you need to. All right, let's get into this and let's build this thing. But before we do, I've got one more thing to talk about, and that is why we use this blue soulfire in the farm rather than a traditional red fire over here. And we use it in the killing area over there, as you can see, to kill the mobs. Now, the first reason is that, the first difference, should I say, is that the blue fire will kill mobs much quicker than the red fire. So that's always a good reason to use this inside your mob farm. It's the same for the campfire version of this fire as well. If you can use that in your mob farm, that will kill mobs much quicker. And generally speaking, that's what you want to do in a mob farm. The other reason is that this fire will sit on top of the soul sand, and items can be pulled through the soul sand by a hopper without any kind of special shenanigans. And that is because that a piece of soul sand is actually a little bit shorter than a full block. Appearance wise, it looks like a full block, but actually it's a little bit shorter, and so items can get sucked all the way through, and that happens quick enough that the fire above doesn't destroy the item. So as you can see in here, this chest is empty, and what we should do now is if I press this button here, we'll spawn a Hoglin on both of these fires at exactly the same time, and yeah, we'll see which one gets killed first. And there we go, we have two adult piglins both spawned exactly the same time on these blocks, and let's see which one dies first. We should see this one die much quicker than the guy on the other fire on the right hand side. There we go. So the guy that gets spawned inside the blue fire dies pretty quickly, and this guy is still going, and he's hopping around. he's not enjoying that very much, but he's still going, he's still burning. There we go, and he dies eventually over there. His drops fall down there, but this guy over here, his drops are inside this chest. So yeah, that is how that works, and that's the reason why we use the blue fire rather than the red fire. And as usual, here is the material list for what you'll need to build a single layer Hoglin farm. And I think for most players, a single layer is all you need. But if you do want to build multiple layers, I'll show you what you need to do. So there's Netherrack here. You'll need 401 of these per layer. So multiply that by the number of layers you want to do. And this could be any solid block. I've just used Netherrack because that's nice and easy to get in the nether. And yeah, just any solid block will do. The red stained glass, you'll need 197 per layer of that. Now, I like to use glass so I can see inside the farm. But that could be any block. One thing you need to notice is that if once you're building the very top layer, you'll need to spawn proof it if you're not using glass. Obviously glass is spawn proof by default. These other blocks are just to get above into the right AFK spot. You're going to need 107 torches per layer. You're going to need just 60 chests, but you can use less chests than that if you want to have less storage underneath. I'm just using that because I like to have just that many, just that bulk. But yeah, you can get away with much less chests if you want to. The blue stained glass here, this could be any block. This is just the number of blocks we're going to use to surround the blue fire. Again, just like to use glass I can see inside. 55 hoppers, so again you can use less than this if you've got less chests. And then you're going to need 25 soul sand, and you're going to need per layer, you're going to need 16 of the crimson or the warped Nylium. You're going to need 16 trapdoors of any type, and you're going to need 16 warped fungus. Make sure it's the warped fungus, this kind of blue and orange one, not the red one, not the crimson fungus. That's not the one you want. You want this blue one, the warped fungus. All right, and that's all you need. That's all there is to it. So grab those resources together, and then we can build this thing up. The first thing to do is to double check we're in the correct biome. So once you've found your spot, press F3, and over on the left hand side you can see it says biome crimson forest. So have a walk around here and make sure that that the area you're building is inside that biome. That's very important, otherwise this farm will not work properly. And then in the center here we're going to place down 5 double chests. So we've got one here, so we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure these are all double chests, and you can do this by holding down shift and clicking on the side of the chest. That will turn them into a double chest like that. And then we're going to stack up 6 high. So we've got one here, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way up, and make sure these are all double chests as well. Now the reason we use 6 is because when we're standing on the floor right here, we can reach all the way to the top chest without any problem, and that gives you maximum storage. But like I said before, if you don't have enough wood, you can have much less chests than this. This is just the amount that I like. So stack all of these up so you've got all of these chests filled in, and then grab yourself a hopper and place hoppers at the back of all of your chests. Now a couple of episodes ago we built an iron farm, so if you're struggling for iron, then you can use that to get enough iron to build this stuff up. All right, so fill that in, and then we move on to the next step. Now pillar up so you're on top of these chests, and what you need to do now is place some more hoppers pointing into these hoppers. So just hold down your shift key and place hoppers was pointing into these, so they should be pointing straight down just like that. Then come around to the front here where the hopper, where the chests are, and again hold down shift and click twice to get 2 hoppers pointing into each of these hoppers just like that. So from the side it should look like that. So all of these hoppers are pointing into this one right here, and again on the back do the same thing, so 2 into here just like that. So that should give you a 5x5 of hoppers on the top like that. Then get yourself some soul sand and place this on top of all of the hoppers, again holding down shift so you don't go into the inventory of the hopper. Next, you need to build a wall around your soul sand. So come out 1 block and then build a wall that's 3 high, and then fill this in all the way around the outside. When you get to the corners, you can either leave them like this with the corner filled in, or if you want to, you can remove these blocks here. They're not needed. So if you want to save a few resources, you can do that. But yeah, build this 3 high wall all the way around the soul sand, just like that, and that will keep the hoglins in place as they are being cooked, and yeah, giving us the food we need. Now we can build the spawning platform on top of this. So now we need to come on top of the glass, place a block right here. So any solid block will do. And now we need to place a total of 8 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So do this on all 4 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then join all of these up into a big square. So all the way around. You'll see I'll do this super quick if I can. There we go. So join all these up. So do it on all 4 sides, and that should give you a big square all the way around. So it should be 8 blocks here and 8 blocks here. And then fill all of this in with your block of choice. Once your platform is all filled in, it should look something like that. Make sure you leave the 5x5 area in the center all open, so the hoglins have got somewhere to fall, and add a block in the center of this 5x5 just like that. Then place a torch on top of that block, and then get yourself some trapdoors. This could be any wood type, and then place a trapdoor on all 4 sides of this central block just like that. Then if you hold down shift, you can then place 2 blocks on top of this, and then make sure they're all open like that. Same on all 4 sides, just like this. And the last one, 1, 2, and then open these all up. You've then got a 3 high of all these trapdoors all the way around. Now on each side of the hole, place a trapdoor like that, and make sure it's all open just like that on all 4 sides. And then what you need to do is grab yourself your Nylium block and come to the corner, place 1 in each of the corners, and then place 1 in the center so it lines up with the trapdoors over there, and do that on all 4 sides. So your platform should look something like that. And now we need a few more Nylium blocks. So what you need to do now is on each side, come to one of the Nylium blocks you've already placed in the center and count 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the 5th block, place another one. So we should have 4 blocks in between here as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should have a gap of 4 in between each Nylium block. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 5th block, we place another Nylium block. So do that on all 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place 1 there. And once you've done that, your platform should look something like this. Now get yourself your fungi, your warped fungi, and go around and place this on all of the Nylium blocks all the way around. We're now going to place down our torches. So come to one side and place torches all the way along between all of the fungus, just like that. And when you get to one of these fungus, place a torch next to it here. So this is going to make sure that we get enough light level on this side. So do that all the way along this side, just here, and then do it again on the opposite side over here. So torches all the way in between the fungus, and when you get to one, place a torch right here next to it, and do that all the way along. Your platform should look something like this now. So just on 2 sides, 2 opposite sides, we put the torches just like that, with the extra torch next to the fungus, just like that. Now for these, now in the center, we need to join up this fungus with torches all the way down every single block until you reach the other fungus all the way to the end, just like that. And do this for all of these 3. When you do the center one, obviously we have the gap in the middle, so just skip over that and then place torches all the way along here until it meets with the fungus. And make sure you do that for all 3 of these in along the center. And now your platform should look something like this. So you just need to have the torches running in these rows along here. You don't need to have them along here at all. That's not required. Now once your torch layout is like this, now come round, and now you need to build a wall that is 2 high all the way around. Now I like to use glass, as I said before, just so I can see inside, but this could be anything. If you're using a different block, like a solid block, then make sure you spawn proof on top of here, maybe with carpets or something like that, just to make sure that no mobs spawn outside the farm. Your platform should look something like this now, with all the torches in place. Now we've just got a couple more to add on. So go to the line here where you don't have any torches in between the warp fungus here, and place 1 diagonally next to the fungus here on the edge, and then over on these ones as well. So do this for all of the fungus, 1 on each side of it, just like that, and including the one in the corners. Do that at both sides over here, and then this platform is done. Now that the platform's all built up, let's hop into our killing area and start lighting this thing up. So you need to light every single block here. All these soul sand blocks need to be lit up. So get yourself a flint and steel, and you can do this. Make sure you don't burn yourself. And then when you come to the edge, just break a little hole here, place an extra block on the outside, just like that, so you can escape. And make sure you light this block here, and then you can do this. Place the last few walls down, and then break these blocks out, and then you're done. And with that, the farm is pretty much complete. The last thing to do is to work out where we want our AFK spot to be. So what you need to do now is come over so you're outside of the farm, so you can see this, the platform finishes here a couple of blocks away. Just place down a block, and now you want to pillar this up until you get all the way up to the build limit at 255. So yeah, just build all this up, and as you do, you can also add ladders all the way up as well. So you can either do this, or you can use scaffolding, something like that, but make it nice and easy for you to get all the way up to the very top. Now if you've got a elytra already, then you don't need to have this. You can just build up a temporary column here, and then you can remove it later on because you'll be able to fly up to the AFK spot. But anyway, build this all the way up to world limit, and then I'll show you the next bit. With our ladder tower complete, then we can do the next part. So just to make sure, if you try and place a block on top, you see we can't go any further because we're at the build limit. Now what you actually want to do is remove this block and have a glass block on the very top. That's just to make sure we don't have anything spawning on top of this. But again, if I try and place something on top of that glass, then nothing can be placed. And now just build out a platform. I actually use glass just so it's spawn proof, so we don't get anything spawning up here. So it's all nice and safe. And come out a few blocks, and then if you look down, you'll be able to see when you're in the center of the farm. So somewhere like here, I think we're probably in the center, and then just make this maybe a bit bigger just so it's nice and easy to stand on without any issues. And this is your AFK spot. So looking down here, yeah, that is where the farm is. Now why are we up here at this distance? Well, let me show you. The AFK spot is up here for the same reason that we discussed last time for the gold farm. We want to make sure that the mobs can only spawn inside our farm and nowhere else. So mobs will spawn within a sphere around the player with a radius of 128 blocks. So if we're up here, the only spawnable spaces inside that sphere is our farm. And I can show you that sphere just by pressing a little short key. You can see this kind of red sphere appears around me. Now if we were to come out of this mode and kind of jump down, you can see that this sphere comes all the way down here, but then it stops underneath the farm just here, so there's no other spawnable blocks. And we want it in this place because if our AFK spot was lower down, let's say it was down here somewhere, that means this whole sphere would lower, and that means that this part of the sphere would be underneath the bedrock, potentially loading some mobs, and that would affect the rates of the farm. And as you can see, there's a Hoglin there just burning up. So the farm is working. So all you got to do now is AFK up there for a bit of time, and then you should see the chests underneath fill up with all your goodies. And that is how you build the single level version of this farm. But what about if you want to stack this up and have more levels? Well, you can see it behind me. This is what it looks like. So let's take a look. I've got my camera account. Logical Geekbot is over there, right on the AFK spot, and he is in the creative mode. So mobs were going to load. But if we go here now, and if I go into spectator mode, so let's just do this, so I won't affect the farm, but we can see what happens. We should see very shortly a whole bunch of Hoglins spawning. There we go. They are coming in. So obviously they spawn on different levels at different times. But looking down here, you see we are getting non-stop Hoglins spawning one after the other coming into the farm. So if you do want to have even more pork chops that you know what to do with, then this is what you need to do. And as you can see, the spawning layers here just get repeated one above the other, just like this, in this fashion. So once you know how to build one layer, it's very easy to stack on top of the other. And yeah, all the layers are exactly the same with the trapdoors and the solid block on the inside with the torch as well. Yeah, and then look at down there, so many Hoglins. This thing is crazy. But yeah, if you want to set up a pork chop business, then this is the farm for you. So there we have it, a super simple Hoglin farm that you can expand to give you crazy amounts of drops. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, then please hit that like button, and if you're new, then feel free to subscribe, and if you've got any comments or suggestions, then get in that comment section. Alright my geeks, until next time, I will see you later.